Whereas a woman has to surmount the obstacle of allowing herself to receive. It's hard for a man, watch me, Keita, to get to a place where he's able to wholeheartedly love. But because of life experiences of other lesser men, it becomes harder, watch this, for a woman to receive love because she's got so many false pretense of what love is supposed to look like. Love through the precepts of man is based off of provision as opposed to affection. So a man who is able to buy gifts use the gifts as an exchange for an affection. That's why it's hard for a baller to be a lover, because the baller begins to think that what I can buy you ought to equate for what it is that I feel, whereas a woman would rather have feelings than have the gift. That's why a woman who really loves a man will sit in an apartment, watch this, with no electricity, with no candles on, just to be with him, rather than being in a mansion with lights on everywhere, but no love in the house. That's why a millionaire couple can be in a limousine. They can be in a limousine and sit on either side of the limousine, watch this, but a broke couple that's in love in a GMC pickup truck, you can't tell who's driving because they're all on top of each other. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, give me the brother with the GMC pickup truck. The same thing can be said for many of us who treat God like a baller as opposed to a lover. Because I want God for his gifts, but I don't necessarily want his attention. Because if I get his attention, then I'm gonna be accountable for who I am with. If I get God's attention, then I'm going to be accountable for where I am. And can I just tell you this? And what it is I am doing. That's why some of you love dating God in church, but you don't actually want to marry God. Because anybody you put the ring on, you're going to have to take them home. Because that will require you, glory to God, to go higher in God. And I don't know who it is I'm preaching to, or I'm going to preach. But when I get to the place where my love relationship with God begins to develop, I don't just want to see him one time a week or once a week in church on Sunday, but because I am in love with God, I'll call him 5 times a day just to hear his voice inside my ear. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, I ain't never, I mean never met nobody like God. Can I preach? Shall I preach? I think I will preach. Look at your other neighbor. I don't know, they may be across the church. And just holler at your neighbor, neighbor, I ain't never in my whole entire life met nobody like God. Somebody shall preach. Dark skin preach. There's somebody who you do not like. I'm talking to the single people now. There's somebody who you don't like, and you made the mistake of giving the person you don't like your phone number. Preach full of preach. They call you 3 times in one day. You're irritated. You do know I work, don't you? Why are you calling me all this time in one day? That's because of somebody who you do not like. Or somebody gonna get free before February. Now if there's somebody who you are enamored with, if there's somebody who you are in love with that calls you the same amount of times, you keep calling back, not even knowing that half of the day is gone, and you're looking like, if I could just get in touch with them, I need to hear their voice. And so God want to know what's wrong with you, that every time I'm trying to talk to you, you act irritated, you act like you're bothered, you act like you're too busy, you act like you ain't got time for me, because you're spending time on Facebook and not in my face. He said this year that I'm looking for some folk who are in love with me, who don't just want me when they're in trouble, when they need money, when the food stamps run out. I need somebody who wants me this year, not when their back is up against the wall, not when it is they can't figure out where is the next money for my weed is gonna come from. High five your neighbor and say, neighbor, God is looking for somebody who will love him just for being him. I'm looking for some folk who will worship me even when I don't need anything, but because I'm just glad to be in your presence. High five your neighbor and say, neighbor, every now and then God will allow some stuff to dry up just to see if you want him for him, or do you want him for his stuff. Somebody shall preach, full of preach. And so now you notice right here that when we go through the book, that men are from Mars and women are from Venus. Dr. Gray suggests that there are 5 different levels or different dimensions in the relationship. The first one is the level of attraction, and then after attraction is insecurity, and after insecurity is exclusivity, and after exclusivity comes intimacy, and after intimacy comes engagement. Somebody shout, and then the book ends. We got a problem here, Shonda.